Hello guys and welcome back to World of Tanks Ace Tanker series. Today we are playing with toxikus79. And toxikus79 is playing in his Cromwell. The map is Widepark, and immediately, as you can see, Toxikus is using his good spawn to go to the middle of the map and spot the advancement of the enemies. He spot almost the entirety of the enemy team, and now he knows where he needs to go. So what usually happens on this map is that the friendly and the enemy team push either the 1 line or the 0 line, so either on the left side or the right side. And when one of the teams pushes through the side, they will go around and shoot the enemies from behind. So this map is a small tier map. That means that it can only be played with smaller tiers from tier 3 to tier 6. And as Toxikus is in his tier 6, he is the top tier in this match. So the position he is taking now is excellent for defending the 0 line. But as you can see, it looks like no enemies are going to the 0 line. And the friendly team is gathering around on the 1 and 2 line to push the left flank. Let's hope they succeed. So Toxikus is really comfortable here in pushing to the houses on the middle, from where he will try and find the shots on the couple of enemies that were last seen on the A line. He doesn't want to expose his tank to the shots from the camping enemies. But as you can see, he needs to do something, because the situation on the map is changing from 1 second to another as more and more friendly tanks die. But Toxikus is kinda undecisive here on what to do next. He is trying to find the shots on the camping enemies on the A line, but unfortunately the thick bushes don't allow him to spot anything or to shoot anything. He is now turning his attention to the KV-85 in the middle. And as he gets spotted, he has only time to put 1 shot and he needs to drop back. So I like what he is doing here now. He puts 1 shot and goes around into cover. As you can see, even artillery was shooting on him. So very intelligent play here by Toxikus. He was spotted and he didn't want to trade shots with the KV-85. Instead, he is waiting to get unspotted. Immediately after that, he goes out and continues firing on the KV-85. He puts another shot in the KV-85 and waits for the KV-85 to respond with his shot. Really nice there. The KV-85 misses and Toxikus is able to come out and shoot again. And the rate of fire on the Cromwell is excellent. It's around 3 seconds when you have the top crew and the ventilation and also the gun rammer. And it looks like the crew on Toxikus tank is really good, as he has the 6th sense. Now he spots the T-34-85. The first shot misses on the T-34, the second penetrates, and the third shot tracks the T-34-85. The 4th shot probably went in, and I don't like what he did here. He should have continued firing blind on the T-34-85, as he was tracked and he could have done damage on blind shots. But he was going for the visible tanks, and that's not bad either. So he gets spotted again and goes around to safety, and in the nick of time, because the artillery killed the VK3601H that was standing next to him. The shot on the T-150 didn't penetrate. And it looks like the push of the friendlies on the left flank was useless, and the enemies are actually pushing back. So the situation is not looking that great. As we can see, the scores is 9-6 for the enemies, and the left flank is completely open. We can see an enemy ELC AMX going around the battlefield and killing friendly artillery. Only a couple of more tanks remaining. So Toxikus is still trying to find a couple of shots on the enemies, but he's not spotting anything. And the Stug was pushing on the camping enemy's position. He dies really quickly, but he spotted the tank destroyer on the enemy team and allowed Toxikus to claim his second kill. But it's a small consolation as the scores are 11-7 for the enemies. And there is only 3 remaining allies. The T-34-85 is trying his best to defend the artillery, but he will not be able to. So Toxikus is rushing this Rudy. He auto-aims and focuses his attention to driving the tank. That's what you should do in your Cromwell. If you are able to come close and circle around the tank, you shouldn't be worried about your shots, as they will probably penetrate the side and the back of the enemy tanks. And you can see a really nice example here by Toxikus doing just that, circling the Rudy. So another shot from the artillery misses the Toxikus Cromwell, and he is going back to try and save the artillery of this elk that was hunting it. He is trying to defend his last ally. So the ELC misses and Toxikus uses his tank to ram the ELC, and with a couple of shots he is no more. So what Toxikus is doing now, he is sick and tired of the artillery shooting at him every time, so he is going for the enemy. He loads the HE as the artilleries in tier 4 and 5 have really low armor values, and even the HE from the Cromwell will penetrate them. It's a good idea because he will need at least 2 shells to kill the artillery, and with HE it is better. He is running through the enemy cap, and I don't think that's a good idea. If you can avoid it, you should have avoided it every time. He spots the first artillery, and that HE that he loaded was enough to kill it. He spots the another artillery also, but it looks like the artillery isn't focusing his attention to Toxikus. That's kill number 6 and the top gun for Toxikus. Meanwhile, while he was killing the artillery, the enemies caught up to the friendly artillery and killed it. So Toxikus in one point was alone against 5 tanks, and he is in contest for the Kolobanov's medal. Let's see if he gets it. So a cap starts on the friendly cap, and it's probably the T-34-85 because the other tanks were spotted on the 0 line. And Toxikus knows this, that's why he is going for the D cap. He got spot and shot to the tracks by the T-34. But good reload on the Cromwell allows him to kill the T-34-85. So he took care of the camping tank, and he is going to make some distance from this place because he doesn't want to get rushed by the other enemies. So he's left alone against 2 tier 6 and a tier 4 tank, and there's the T-28. He again auto-aims and kills it with first shot. As I said, what you usually want to do in the Cromwell is drive around the slower tanks and try and find their sides and the rear, and really auto-aim and not think about the penetration, because you have enough of DPM to kill almost any tanks at tier 6. Not to mention the tier 4 medium as T-28. So see, he spots the heavy tank and the tank destroyer and decides to go for the heavy tank. The T-150 misses, and the APCR on the Cromwell, the premium shells, do a really good job against the T-150 armor. On further note, Toxikus showed us how to apply the carousel tactics on the big, slow, heavy tanks. T-150 is one of the tanks with the best armor in the tier 6, and we cannot blame Toxikus for using gold shells in this kind of situation. He was alone against 5 tanks, and now he is 1v1 against a tier 6 Russian tank destroyer. So this tank destroyer has an excellent gun, which can almost shave off the entirety of the toxikus health. It has around 450 damage with regular shells and around 500 with premium shells. Basically, you don't want to get shot by this tank when you are driving tier 8 and let alone when driving tier 6 as Cromwell. So what toxikus is doing now, he's trying to find the long range shot on the tank destroyer, trying to spot it and maybe flank it from either one left or the right side. He is going for the flanking move here, but as you can see, the tank destroyer is facing the right side and he shots toxikus. The toxikus returns one shot, but he is not able to finish it with only one shot. The tank destroyer pulls back and toxikus also runs into cover, but the tank destroyer did more damage with his shell. So the situation is really bad now because he is one shot for the tank destroyer and he needs to put 2 shots in the tank destroyer as it has 200 health. So what toxikus is going to do now is go around, flank the enemies from the other side. It takes a lot of time to bomb around the map and find the angle on the enemy tank destroyer, but he needs to do that. He needs to find the angle on the enemy and the easiest way to kill it. And probably the best tank you would want in this situation is the Cromwell. So the Cromwell is moving really fast at 60 km per hour, and it will allow you to flank your enemies almost every time, as we saw in a couple of occasions on this replay. So toxikus is driving around trying to find the spot on the enemy tank destroyer that is left. He needs 2 good shots, and I don't like what he is doing now. He is driving through the enemy cap, and if the tank destroyer is any smart, he will know that toxikus is going on the A line. This is something that you should consider when trying to flank your enemies. So toxikus is not going to push the railroad. That would be suicide, because if he gets in front of the tank destroyer in the railroad, he cannot turn either left or right. So he is only trying to spot from this position, but as he doesn't find the spot, he is going back. He is again driving through the cap, something that I said I really don't like him doing. But as the cap is around 300 to 400 meters from the last known position of the tank destroyer, he is maybe safe, maybe not, but for me it was a necessary risk. But he is not getting spotted, so as only 1 minute is left on the clock, he needs to go in and try and find the shots on the tank destroyer. And the TD is not even spotting toxikus, and this is really good for him, as he can close the distance until he gets spotted by the tank destroyer, and he can use the carousel tactics again on this enemy. And toxikus gets spotted here while he was trying to move into position, but the bad terrain here doesn't allow him to maneuver, and tank destroyer fires. He had a shot on toxikus through the houses, but he wasn't able to kill him, and toxikus finishes the big Russian TD. That's a GG, and let's take a look at the post-game stats. As you can see, toxikus scored a couple of medals like Bruiser, Duelist, Fire for Effect, a Kolobanov medal for standing alone against 5 enemy tanks and winning, a Pulse medal for killing 10 tanks, a Scouting medal for that initial scouting run on the middle of the map, a High Caliber medal and a Top Gun medal, and of course the Mastery Badge Ace Tanker. On the team score sheet we can see that he did 3159 damage, killing 10 tanks, and that allowed him to score 1605 experience. On the detailed report we can see that he fired 39 shots, of which 32 hit the target and 27 penetrated. Many of those shots were premium shells, but with the premium account he was still able to earn 16,000 credits. A really good game for him and a really nice Kolobanov's medal. Thank you all for watching. If you didn't like the video, drop a dislike or leave a comment how I can improve the channel. And if you liked the video, hit the like button, share and subscribe for more content, as it really helps me out a lot. And then also don't forget to follow me on Facebook, Twitter and Google Plus to get the new content first, every Monday, Wednesday and Friday. And if you're wondering what to watch next, hit the little I button in the top right corner and it will lead you to another video. See you guys next time.